in a long-term relationship, whether you intend the relationship to go towards marriage, whether you have children together or not, you're going to be put into a situation where you're interacting pretty regularly with your man's children, your man's siblings, your man's extended family, and your man's parents. That's a given, unless they're dead or living in some other country or something. You're going to see them pretty regularly. Talk to them on the phone at least. Now, in most instances, you see all these memes and things, people making jokes about their mother-in-laws. Those are very realistic situations. I think sometimes as women forget, that, yeah, this is your son, it's your child, but he's a grown-ass man now. He's fucking, and he's got a family of his own. So, whatever relationship that you had with him, you need to take a fucking step back, two preferably, and let him deal with stuff. In addition, if you have your relationship is too close with, his relationship is too close with his mama, he's going to be open to telling her shit about what you all, what's going on in y'all's relationship that he really shouldn't be telling her. So that can sometimes lead to some real dramatic drama and upset feelings and hurt feelings and a bunch of bullshit, basically. Because he don't know how to keep his goddamn mouth closed and not be telling his mother his business about his woman and his little feelings and shit. Some things you just got to G up and hold some shit in. You don't tell your mother everything. So you're in a situation, right, where you and the mother maybe, don't get along that well, but you tolerate each other. And something happens. She gets upset at you because something she wants you to do different, the way you deal with her son or her grandchildren, or whatever's the reason. And she slips up and calls you a bitch. What do you do? This situation came about because I saw this question online and I was sitting there looking at the responses. And I know what I would do, which I will share with you in a little bit. But I was surprised at what some of the women said. One, well, actually more than one, was like, well, maybe you are a bitch and you should just accept it. Unacceptable response, because no matter how I am, the mother-in-law has no right, his mama, whoever the bitch is, has no right to call anybody a name. And it shows marked disrespect of both her son and her son's relationship and the son's girlfriend slash wife. So you don't say that. You can think it, but that word should never come out of your lips. So for this woman to say that, and the ones who agreed with her, I have a problem with that. And that's, you don't have the right to judge and tell me that I'm anything. You need to keep your goddamn mouth shut. All right, so then some of them said, well, I just stay away from her. You could do that, I suppose, to a limited extent, but it's going to make it very awkward, especially if you have children together and they're young. How are they supposed to see granny? Because you shouldn't intervene, have the relationship with them and between their grandparents messed up because y'all had words. That becomes a very awkward situation. So that doesn't really seem like a very viable solution. There has to be something better. Some of the women said, well, if she's going to call me that kind of name, I'm going to call her that one back and squelch that noise. We both grown women. And if you don't give no respect, you can't expect to get any. That's true, But do you have to, just because she got with ghetto and gully, do you have to get ghetto and gully with her? We don't know the situation, what kind of man you got with, but let me tell you this. If you got a man whose mother is comfortable calling other women, like to their face and to her son's face a bitch, she is a ghetto heifer. And that means she got a ghetto ass son. That's the one that you with. Because there's no way he could be raised by that cow and have some good goddamn sense. So that's something that you have to consider. Um, he hasn't learned, he hasn't been taught that kind of respect because it wasn't demonstrated for him by his bitch ass mother. Okay, so that's something to think about too. Some of the women were like, well, I would just talk to her. What you gonna talk to her about? I mean, I suppose that's probably a good solution. It's like, why would you say such a thing to me, and what's wrong with you? But sometimes it's like she's all in her feelings, she's mad. That's just gonna escalate, because she's upset. I mean, I suppose you could go away and talk to her about it later, but I don't know. That's one. We'll put that on the possibility side. A couple of women said, well, I would pray on it. Since I'm an atheist, I don't believe in all of that. So I don't see where getting on your knees and talking to yourself is going to change shit. You need to stand up and deal with the problem. So, but whatever. That's what a couple of people gave that response. Others said, well, I would, make him handle it. That's his mother. Others said, well, it's not his job to handle it because it's his mother. And we're two grown women, we should be able to handle it. So as you can see, the responses to the question were all over the place. And the women gave a lot of different responses. But if you notice, the one thing that they all had in common is none of them that's not being reflected in the relationship that she has with the man. They're not really looking at that and what that means. And see, to me, that's where the hole is. You're putting yourself, you want to maintain this relationship with a man who would sit there and let his mother call you a vile name and he not check that hoe. Okay, so you got a problem. See, and these women, all these little responses, none of them addressed that. They didn't even think about it. You have a man that's supposed to be with you, that's supposed to love you, and he's going to accept disrespect and foul treatment and name calling from his mother towards the woman he loves, and his bitchy, cowardly ass doesn't say anything? No. No, 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 no. Not only is this dude a coward, which is, what he's showing you, it shows that he lacks emotional intelligence because he's, like clueless. Either that or he understands what's going on. He just don't want to get involved because it's too much work. He's not really trying to solve the problem. He just wants to, choose the easy way out, which is to do nothing. Or maybe he's one of the kind of person, he just doesn't like conflict. He doesn't really know how to deal with it. He doesn't have that sense, that protective sense that women are looking for. Like Steve Harvey says, that's one of the only three things that a man will do for you is protect you. If he won't even do that, and it's not against the threat that's to his life or limb, it's just against his mother, and it's just words, and he won't even step up and do that. See, you got a problem, and you need to understand what time it is. You with a man, you fucking him, cooking for him, cleaning for him, having his babies and shit, but he's not willing to step up and do anything to protect you from harm, from his own family. You have a bitch nigga. That's what you got. And I know a lot of you are going to be listening to this and you're going to be saying, well, she just wants me to give up my relationship. You can stay there if you want to. I'll tell you what Deb would do, and I would chuck up the deuces after I cuss both of them out. She would become every kind of nigga bitch hoe I could think of, and so would he. Because there'd be no reason in this world where I would sit there and take any kind of disrespect. I mean, no matter what she perceives that I have done or said, she's supposed to approach me like she has some goddamn sense and talk about it. Say, well, I didn't like this and that. And then I could be like, oh, I could be either like, oh, really? With my look like who gives a shit expression. Or it might be something that's, really I shouldn't have done. In which case I will listen to her and I will apologize. But either way, there has to be some mature discussion about the issue that made you get all in your feelings and be wanting to call folks out their name. So to just accept that and just continue on with the relationship like nothing had happened without really analyzing what his behavior, his lack of action, and his tolerance for that kind of treatment of you means. See, y'all not thinking. You're not looking at the big picture here. So then don't be upset when years later, the shit escalates, his mom puts her hands on you, or his other, relatives join in on it, and you at a family gathering, and they all gang up on your ass and start saying all kind of horrible things and send you out of there in tears. See, that's what happens when the person who's in their family does not check them, like when it first starts, and say, this bullshit here, we're not gonna have this. You're not gonna get my woman in a situation where you talking about her like that, because then now you're gonna have to deal with me. See, that's all he has to say. So they pipe down and they shut up. They might talk about her with, amongst themselves behind your back, but that's fine. They can do that. But what they best not do is do anything that's going to get back to her ears, or do anything that's going to hurt her feelings, because see, now I'm going to come and put my foot up your ass. And that's what a woman is looking for from her man. It's not like he has to do it. He just has to say he's going to do it. And he gets everybody shut down and in line, and everything is fine. So they know when she comes around, he brings her around, his kids come with her. They already know what the program is and how to act. But if he doesn't take the initiative to do that, he's not protecting you, and he doesn't give a fuck how people treat you in his own family. That's what you need to understand. And if you're in a situation like that, you just think it's, you could pray on it, and you could, just like throw it up to God, or you could just, ignore her and all this other kind of passive aggressive shit, that's not going to do nothing. You need to stand up like a woman, and you need to get in his ass and say, we together are going to talk to your mother, or you going to talk to your mother, because I'm not going to talk to this bitch until she apologizes to me. And she better fucking mean it. Or we're through. That's where we going to go, honey. Because it's like, I'm not going to take this shit, and I'm not going to sit here and let you talk, you just accept your mother talking to me like that. Because both of y'all could kiss my ass. See, that's me. But I have a vile temper. I know I do. Everybody who knows me knows I do. So chances are she wouldn't say that, because she knows I would, most likely just fly through the air like one of those, they say on people in the little cartoons, and whoop her ass. But, I'm trying to be better, because, I'm getting too old for all that ass kicking stuff now. I still will do it if necessary, but I just really don't want to. But in a situation like this, I think it's very important for women to really establish a bottom line for the treatment that you're going to accept. Too many women accept they accept mistreatment because of their lack of confidence and their low self-esteem. You think that this kind of stuff is okay. Maybe you grew up being called names. You grew up being bullied. I mean, I don't know everybody's situation. You know what I mean? Thousands and thousands of people listen to these videos. I'm in no way qualified to judge everybody's history, and I'm not psychic. But I'm just throwing out some ideas for how maybe you got in the mindset where you think that this stuff is something that you have to tolerate, and that it's acceptable, and that you have no recourse against it. You have no power. You have a lot of power, and don't you ever let no bitch talk to you like that. Nobody. I don't care if it's your own mother. Nobody should ever be able to call you a horrible name like that and get away with it. And your man, the one who's supposed to be loving and protecting you, just sitting up there twiddling his fucking thumbs and looking out the window like he don't know what's happening. I would be kicking that nigga's ass all up and down the street. Oh, just thinking about it makes me mad. But this was a very real situation that came up. These kind of things where the woman feels abandoned by her man and left to fend for herself happen quite frequently. This is just one example of it. But you got to understand, if you have a man who treats you this way and is very cavalier about your feelings, you really need to talk to him. Y'all might need to get some counseling, therapy, or whatever they call it, and really get at the root of why he abandoned you like that. My thing, unless I'm married to him, and I would never marry somebody who did something like that. Unless you're married, you don't owe a motherfucker shit. That's why I say don't have babies with men you're not married to. If you're not married to him and he treats you like this, that's not anybody that you should continue to be with. Because men are they're on their best behavior in the early part of the relationship. By the time they get, used to you, that's when the real food comes out. So if he's starting off like this, it's just going to go downhill from there. So 10, 15, 20 years later, you're going to be in a world of trouble trying to figure out why you feel so alone and uncared for and unloved and unsupported in your alleged close and warm relationship. You have to have a man who shows you that he's got your back and he's a protector of you. He cares about what happens to you, and he doesn't want any harm and hurt to come to you. That's what you have to have from the first day that you get with him. If he's not demonstrating those kind of attitudes, around you and about you, that is nobody that you need to be invested any time or emotion in. He's not ready. He's not qualified, and he's just there to get his dick wet or whatever he's there for, whatever convenience you're offering. He's not really going to put in any work and he don't give a fuck about you. All right, this is Deb Cooper with a reality check on dating a dude and dealing with his bitch ass mama. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with another video. We're winding up the last of the month. This was every video a day February. I've been cranking them out. This is kicking my butt, but I'm making good on my promise. So we got about another week of this, and then we will be done. I'll be back, like I said, with another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.